Okay, I'm back. We got a minute before the open. Wednesday, July 27th, 8:30 in the morning, 8:29 to be exact. I'm going to get my tea real quick and then I'll be back. As per usual, we've got, looking on my chart here to see, we've got our red line here, red dotted line, and then green dotted line should be way up above somewhere higher. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay, see me all right. Did a little shaving. The kids always call me tiny face whenever I shave because my face looks a little bit longer with the beard. And then I shave it all off and like, Dad, your face is so weird. It's so tiny and weird. So I'm known by them as Tiny Face. Known and adored by many as Mr. Tiny Face. Alright, so let's watch the market together. Should be a good day. I'll be right back. Okay, and as per usual, I will annotate the first minute of trade with two horizontal orange lines, just marking the opening range. This lets us know where we opened up, where the extremes of the move was, and gives us a reference point, really. I know we've got Fed, right? Fed minutes today at 1 p.m. I'll be here in front of the screens for the next 2 hours or so, and it's my first day back in a while. I did have it's funny how some of my best trades come on my phone. When I was looking yesterday, pulling into work at like 11, and really liked a level that I saw, and so I got involved there and just pulled it all up in my phone. I hadn't been in front of the screens for a week and a half, and just a level that made sense on a longer time frame, and so got involved there. But back at it today. Certainly not in a hurry to put any trade on or get involved, as it's been, gosh, it's really been about 2 weeks since I've had any kind of consistency with being in front of the screens due to vacation, and daughter had a little broken finger that we had to take care of, and mom was out of town, she was overseas, so here we are, back in the saddle, letting the market develop, letting it do what it wants to do. Hey, thanks, Jay. Good to be back. Back in action. The screen you're looking at here that I've got pulled up is just the 2 minute time frame. I'll switch back and forth. I'll drag other screens into view, but depending on what I'm seeing. But just I don't know, I was talking to Tech T111. He's like, hey, it's so much easier to just look at one screen versus a whole bunch of others. So we'll give that a try for a while, see how it works. Backed by popular demand. I think there's some big earnings this week too, like some of the tech companies. I don't know what day they are. I feel like it's trying to get back down into this range perhaps, but I'm not gonna make any predictions just yet. So again, I've got the 2 minute pulled up that you should be seeing. Let me just double check. You should be seeing that on your screen, y'all, or yuns, as I've heard it said before. Yeah, there we go. So again, green line, just the overnight high. Red, this is the overnight low. Now I marked this level based on where price was at 5 p.m. Central Time. Price was a little bit lower, like right after the close at, say, 3:15 Central Time, but this one was just kind of an up and away market, so this might have a little bit more significance here. I guess, yeah, the true after hours low would be around this level, this 39.30. Let's see if we do an about face here. Let's see if the market can push up. And it's nice too when you don't. So yesterday I wasn't in front of the screens at all, wasn't watching, so I had no expectation of trading or making money or anything like that. And I was just prepping for today a little bit. I thought, it is really nice when you walk into a day and you don't have, it's good to have some expectations, but other ones it's good to just throw it out the window. So yeah, it was something yesterday, the trade that I put on around like 11 o'clock, how no expectation. I didn't even think I'd be trading. I just happened to pull the chart up and studied it, waited around 25, 30 minutes, and then came to my level and got involved. And just how refreshing it was to put a trade on and not have a lot of expectations about needing to be involved or, worrying about missing the move. It just flowed and was very natural and just felt really nice. So it's a good move. Now, I do expect to have a winning performance every day. And just to beat this in our heads again, I define a winning performance as simply watching and observing the market, not fearing I'll miss the move, and then simply executing with targets and stop losses in place. To me, that's how I define a winning performance. I can and will have a winning performance every day. It's still a little high yet. And also not missing, not worrying that I'll miss the move. Not being overly concerned that we'll miss the move. We'll see how this 5-minute bar closes out. See what it does. Got another 15 seconds till we get a new 5-minute bar. All right, well, we tagged the overnight high there. No, Jay, I won't be trading FOMC. I just watch the markets for the first 2.5 hours in the morning, and then that's it. There's sometimes there's some great opportunities during FOMC. Other times it's a non-event. Um, you never know, obviously, what it's gonna give you, what's gonna develop. And truly, being that today it's first day back in quite a while, just want to get my bearings under me, get give it some time, let some price action develop, and then generate a hypothesis from there based on what I'm seeing. Got another minute to go on the 5-minute bar. We'll see how that guy closes too. All right, so we're right at the overnight high, up here at 39.68 quarter. 15-minute bar is obviously strong. It's just green arrow. That's not a green arrow, but just big green bar closing near the highs. Just looking at some other levels here. Oh, Jay. Wow, all the way in New Zealand. Isn't that interesting how the internet just connects us wherever you're at? Unbelievable. That's great, mate. In New Zealand. Yeah, I'd go nap. Shoot. Go nap. Or, I don't know, sometimes in the morning at FOMC you can catch a good move. Maybe if you really get one by the tail, leave on a runner and FOMC news comes out and it really, blasts off and you're already in it. It works 100% of the time, 50% of the time. So, to be determined. Kind of anxious to see what they do around like the 75 to 77 level. Let's see. Yeah, 75 to 77. Wait and see what happens up there. If we get up there, we may not. So far is our, again, 2 minute, just marching up higher. If I drag this one into this screen here, here's our 15 minute. And, whoa, what's up with that? Let's try, oh man, it's no bueno. Let's try this. There we go. Here's our 15 minute. And I've got lines in here, right? Here's the orange line is the opening range. Green is the overnight high, red is the overnight low. Just looking at this thing, it seems to me like kind of the area where business has been done quite a bit over the last few days. Looks to be like 74, 75-ish, down to about, 39.40. So I guess we kind of gapped. We might have filled it. We might have got close to filling it earlier. High 39.55. So yeah, we didn't gap today. but we're in the upper part of this range, so it makes me wonder if we come up and then pull back in. Then from there, it's anyone's guess, whether we pull back in, hold strong, and then move higher, or whether we pull back in and get accepted here, push lower. Again, it's an FOMC day, so who knows? Who knows? To be determined as far as what's going to happen. A little bit of movement here now, around 70. That's a good plan, Jay. 2 hours now. Yeah, that's opening. Could get some good price action first 2 hours. Go for a quick nappy, come back, then just crush it. Right? Just clicking that mouse during FOMC. Well, we got another 2.5 minutes, so we get a new 5-minute bar. On the 2-minute chart here, we've marched up with some green. Looks like we could put in a few red candles here. Maybe not. Maybe we just continue higher. Again, I'm not involved here at any level. I don't see anything compelling to do just yet. And I've mentioned that for me, so when I'm looking at charts, I just look at the daily, 15-minute, 5-minute, and then the 1-minute. With me, less is more. I don't have a whole bunch on my charts. I just look at price action and levels where business has been done, where we, sell off or get bought up at certain levels, and then make decisions based on those areas. But I've also mentioned too that I'm working on being more selective with the trades I take. So like I said, even yesterday, I had no thought that I would trade because I wasn't in front of the screens, and it was 11 o'clock when I first took a trade on my phone based on price levels that I see, because I can easily see the daily and the 5-minute and the 15-minute on my phone. So took a trade, but that wasn't until 11. So had I been in front of the screens, I would have been sitting for 2.5 hours before I got involved, before I had any kind of real conviction about what I thought might happen. And truth be told, oftentimes if I'm sitting in front of the screens, most times I've done something before that time frame. And to me, the trade I took yesterday was great. I visualized it, I could see it setting up, and then let it play out. And so I want to work on visualization better as far as having that hypothesis, that thesis that I want to test out, put some money behind it, but before it sets up, to kind of to mentally prepare to say, all right, is this a trade that is, do I anticipate it being one that I'm looking for 10 points or less, or more than 10 points, or 20 points, or 30 points? What's my time frame? Do I anticipate being in this less than 20 minutes, more than 30 minutes? Do I anticipate being in this for hours? Do I want to have a runner, or am I all in, all out? So those are, I'm getting some banners made for my channel to where when you're watching it, I'll have a banner somewhere that might say, so like right now you would just see something probably that says like watching and observing, right? And then if we do get up to this 39.75 area, if we get up to there, I might then change the banner to make it say looking for a potential short, or considering a short, something like that. Now maybe I'm considering it, but I never see anything that materializes that gets me into the trade. Or you might see a trade where a banner that says potential long, but then I'll have targets on there and time frames as well, and I think that'll it'll be helpful hopefully for people that are watching, and then helpful for myself as well to remember once I'm in the trade, hey dude, remember, like, you waited for the setup for quite a while and now it's here, so let the trade have a little room, give it a little leash to run with. I've got a Doberman dog. He's 13 months old, but he is a man-child of a bodybuilder type dog. He's just huge. And I'll take him out on my bike. I'll ride the bike fast, and he's on the leash. I got to give that dude some leash, right? Like, he's a big dog. I can't be, having him just super tight, real close to me, because things could get ugly real fast. He could get hurt, or I could get hurt, or both of us could, or whatever, you name it. Especially he's a puppy, so he's still in training. He just is 100 pounds, almost 100 pounds, so he functions like a full-grown adult Doberman. But he's big enough. I gotta give him some wiggle room, and I feel like the same with our trades. We've got it's easy to be impatient, or to think, man, why isn't this thing working right now? Well, until it goes against you, and until it really proves itself that it's not working, we just have to give it some time. And it's usually helpful, for me at least, to try to guesstimate what my time frame is and what my time frame would be. So back to rambling. All right, let's see if the bulls push up a little bit higher here. We've got had our two red bars, and just hanging out right here at that overnight level. Let's see what they do. Let's see what happens. Got 2 more minutes, just under 2 minutes, until we put in a new 5-minute bar. Again, I'm watching, I guess you'd call it 75, so 39.75 to 77 level, just based on price action on the 5-minute and 15. Here, I'll drag the 5-minute into the screen here. Here's a 5-minute, and had some action up here. I don't know what day that was. Looks like Monday up here, and then some more, and then later in the day Monday. So we'll see if we do push that high. Probably be considering a short if we get up there. The trick is always, do we get up there? I like this, how there's a little bit of there's some back and forth here at this level, right at the overnight high. So I'm feeling like either this is it, the bulls don't push it higher, and we pull down a bit. maybe touch, who knows where we go if we sell off. I don't know. Maybe we touch this. Um, or if we do come up and then show weakness, um, for me, that's really the trade I'd like to see. But we're almost done on the 5 minute here. It is looking kind of weak now. Might take out the previous 5 minutes low. So we'll just have to wait and see. Pardon me. Sorry about that. All right. So if Micah, if you're watching, I don't know if he's in the firehouse today or if he's off, but got the A period complete. Looks like about roughly 55 or 54 something up to 70. So that's our A period on market profile. So hopefully I'm saying it right, Mostert. Have you? Sorry if I haven't noticed you. Have you been on the channel before? Prior to my little mini sabbatical. My wife's grandmother, she died a few years ago. She was a New Zealander, and we met some of her family. Ian, who he owns used to own a kiwi farm somewhere in New Zealand. I don't know if it was which island it was. I'm sure there's one island that's more conducive for kiwi versus another. But just a really nice guy, and her grandma was just such a sweetheart. Beulah Goulet was her name. One of like 12 kids. And we've got some friends who have lived there for a few years, and I'm sure at some point, Lord willing, we'll get out there and do a little vacationing. Go visit some of her extended family as well. Oh, cool. Well, sweet. Well, welcome back under your new alias. Myself it was during COVID that I thought I'd grow out my hair and my beard and all that, and forever I never had long hair nor a beard. I'd always have it kind of short, kind of like a typical finance guy haircut, if you could imagine that or picture that. And I'd see people who hadn't seen me in a while with a long beard, like bushy, scraggly beard, long hair all over the place when it's not pulled back, and so some of the guys I hadn't seen were like, dude, you could legitimately go on the run if you wanted to or needed to. So go on the run, get an alias. Well, Jay, welcome back under your new name, under new management perhaps. That's cool. Glad to have you back. You've been watching the markets for a while. You trade full time, you work part time. Where are you at? Oh, fantastic. I have been to South Africa. Been to Cape Town. Muizenberg was where I was staying at. Made it to, I think it was Qui Crawl. At the time, it was the world's second largest bungee jump. into a narrow gorge slash ravine. But that was back in, gosh, it was '02, so it was 20 years ago this February. But yeah, Cape Town, what a gorgeous place. Didn't make it to Durban, but Table Mountain. I volunteered at a boys' like vocational school there for part of the time. I was there the whole month of February, and just had a really nice time. Afrikaans, that's great, man. World traveler, Mr. J. All right, let's watch this market. Let's see what we're doing. A little bit of a pullback here, down to 65. Let's see if we just continue on. So just put in a new 5-minute bar. And again today, I've said it before this morning, sorry if I'm like a broken record, but it's been it's been like really 2 weeks since I've sat in front of the screen and just observed the market. So today, I know I say this, but most days I'll say I'm not in a hurry, and then 15 minutes later I might be in a trade, and it might be because of something I see. But today I'm in more of an observational mode. Not to say I won't take a trade, but I'm just going to let this thing set up, see what I see, and then make a decision from there. This is kind of interesting to me, this sell-off at 72. It seems like the bulls were in a hurry, like they didn't want it to get up that high. So let's see about, maybe if we get a little bit of a pullback up to 68. Usually I'd be involved right now already, but we'll see if we get a little bit of a pullback and then come in a bit more. When I say a pullback, I mean a slight retracement, a little pop up. Asking myself too, like if I am involved short at 68, what's my target? I feel like 62 could be, or 58. But for me, I don't see that as a great risk reward. We've got another 2 minutes till we get a new 5-minute bar. I'm not involved yet to the short side. One more minute to go on the 5-minute bar here. Well, I didn't have a resting order at 68. We never got up to there. We're at 39.64 right now. Half minute to go till we put in a new 5-minute bar. Again, first day back, so I'm not in too big of a rush to make something happen here. So the level I had pegged that I wanted to watch was 39.75 to about 77. Was wanting to see if we would sell off at that level. Haven't yet made it to that. Had kind of got a wonky looking 5-minute. It is FOMC day. There's my 68 level. Wanting to see what we do here. I have not pulled the trigger. I'm not in a trade. Again, I was considering shorting at 68. Question for me is, target would be 62 and then 58. Well, I'm just in watch and observe mode right now. We've still got 2 minutes to go on the 5-minute bar. This will be interesting if we reclaim this level up here. Dealing with a little bit of FOMO right here. Not gonna lie, I'm human, right? Don't want to miss the move, but in my head, I'm just trying to calculate, all right, if I'm short, where am I wrong? And then what is my target? Another half minute till we get a new 5-minute bar. Here's our 5-minute chart right here. Come up to 68, we're not selling off. So let's see, that's kind of an about face for all the guys who sold it here. Let's see what kind of price action we get up higher here. Kind of interesting. Right, do the bulls march it higher, or is this it? Again, right back here at the overnight high, in that area where we hung out and just did some business for a while. It still got me interested. So that 67 level seems somewhat significant. Potential, maybe that was a potential liquidation break, right? Where it's trying to push higher, takes a pause and a break. Bulls resume course, pick it right back up, and then just push higher. So much nuance to trading, you know. Sometimes you just got to go with your gut or just experience. So initially I saw this red bar, thought, ooh man, that's a decent push down. Thought, all right, maybe I'll get involved, sell it at 68. But for me, I couldn't answer the question of, if I sell it at 68, where does price have to go for me to know I'm wrong? Because initially I've been talking about 75 to 77. And it doesn't mean it has to go to that level. That's just a level in my head that makes sense based on price action from the last few days. So it would have to go up there, and I still wouldn't feel that I'm wrong, because it could sell off at that level. And then if I was short here, what's my target? I thought, well, 62 maybe, which would be close to opening range, and then 58. But I just didn't like the risk to reward. I, wasn't crazy about the price action. So at this point, we're 45 or 47 minutes in. Haven't placed a trade yet. Just don't have real strong conviction one way or the other, personally, about any certain trade I'd like to be in. So we sit back and wait. Another 2 minutes so we get a new 5-minute bar. I'm going to edit that line. 67, that's, to me, it's got a little significance, nothing major. But if we were to push up and I liked it short, I might watch what it does around that level. Keeping in mind too that, we could pull back and have a monster rally too. just because I've got a hypothesis doesn't mean I'm right, right? I'm not all knowing. We'll see how this 5-minute bar ends. Looks like it's going to end somewhat strong here. All right, I don't mind that. And with some strength. So I'm mindful too today that, it could be a big update. There could be guys positioning themselves before FOMC, wanting to get long, looking at the daily chart, taking into consideration that context. So gotta be vigilant. Gotta be on our A game, not willy-nilly. Gotta be doing stuff too that makes sense. Hey, if you're long here, you're short here, that's cool, but you gotta have a reason for doing it. Or more than that, you gotta know where you're right and where you're wrong. All right, another 2 minutes till we get a new 5-minute bar. Who wants it more, the Bulls or the Bears? Well, so far every micro sell-off has been met with buyers. Still got 6 minutes until our initial balance is done for those who watch Market Profile, and another 6 minutes till we complete our 15-minute bar. getting ready to try to sell. Be looking at 62, or at least this low that we put in here. So it might be a tighter target, maybe even 65. Haven't done anything just yet though. Got another 2.5 minutes till we get a new 5-minute bar. Let's watch and see if we do push a little higher. I'm going to sell a little bit right here. Feel I may have been a little premature. So I'm short 71.5. Looking for 65. So I'm not looking for a big target. Another minute on the 5-minute. See how this guy closes. And two, I'll be the first to admit I want to get better at catching the wave on the back end. So even here, if I like it short, ideally I'd like to see some momentum and then jump on board. But truthfully, right now where we're at, I don't have a lot of conviction that we're just gonna push a lot lower. Now anything can happen, of course, but not like a trade that I'm just crazy about right here at this level. Got another 20 seconds to go on the 5-minute. We are kind of just waffling, hanging out in this area. We've been here long enough now to where, in my head I'm thinking FOMC, 15-minute bar is getting ready to wrap up. If we can close a little weaker here, potentially we'll pull back in a little bit. So let's see what we can do here. I am still watching the 75 to call it 77 level. And the two yellow lines, third lines I just put in as I'm watching trade. as I'm watching price action. I'm flattening right here. So I'm out just for a loss of 1/4 of a point at 71.5. I'll wait. If I'm going to get short, I'll wait for it to go up higher and to prove weakness up there. And it could be that the market sells off here, and that's fine. I just want a better signal if I get involved. I might pull the trigger again here. Well, been kind of a slow morning. I just don't have a lot of strong conviction. I do feel like you could see a push down to 65, maybe lower. So I don't think my entry was bad when I took it. I would like to have a better why for what I'm doing. I'm going to sell some here. Boy, again, I think I might be dealing with a little FOMO today. The no FOMO trader. You know what? I'm gonna flatten again. I just sorry for the indecisiveness. Maybe a little bit rusty, being off the last 2 weeks. In my head, I'm like, all right, I need to be trading, need to make something happen, put something together. Whereas, truth be told, I need to just sit back, wait, let something develop. something that I've got like good conviction about. Right here, I'm trying to make something happen. So that's a sign that you just need to sit back, observe, let it come to you, develop a solid thesis, and then act accordingly. So the reason I got in that second time was I thought, okay, like came up, it looked like this would be the move, then touch down, then have a nice little blast off, then came back in, and I thought, okay, maybe the guys who were getting long, potentially they're stuck now, and we sell off, and we very well could. We could sell off to 65. Shoot, we can put in new lows of the day. I just want to have a better why if I'm getting involved in a trade versus fear of missing out. That's never a good why. Oh, I'm gonna miss what could be. It's usually better to wait to see what is, let the market kind of confirm it, and then get involved. Versus in my head what I think could be. I'm gonna miss out on what could be. It's not good. Not a good way to do it. All right. So 2 little scratches there. I mean, the loss was negligible. Just a 1 tick on each. Maybe I'll put back that line at 67. I kind of like that level. Kind of likes it. So far, I mean, looking at the market, I'll drag my 2 screens into view here. We've got on the left our 15-minute where we're just up, we're just hanging out here at the upper part, and the 1-minute just come up and we're just doing our thing there. So doesn't look like momentum or sentiment is changing. Looking at the 2-minute, we've pushed up. We're just hanging tight. We're at the top of that range I talked about the other day, the top being around 75 to 77, bottom being more around like this 39.40 level. And that's that really. Anyone else take any trades this morning? Anyone who's watching? Anyone else? Hey, we'll see you, Jay. Have a good rest of your day. Yeah, trade well during FOMC. Could be a market mover. To be determined. We'll see you, man. Priya S. Hey, how's it going, Priya? So yeah, my question a few minutes ago is: anyone else taken a trade? Have you done anything? I've taken two for a scratch. Each trade was just a one tick loss, so quarter of a point loss. Was in it, and then within 15, 20 seconds thought, there's nothing I'm seeing here. It's my first day back in 2 weeks, and feeling like I need to be active, need to be doing something, gotta be making some moves here to make some money, but it's better to do it with something you've got some real conviction about. And so far we're just on the 5 minute, we've come up and we're just hanging out. Come up above the overnight high. We've been up here for, well, it looks like about a half hour now. We've been playing with it since 8:45, so the past hour we've been right up here at overnight high, and not a whole bunch to get excited about. If we do sell off, well, I'm not going to make any predictions. We'll watch the market price action and make decisions based on what the market shows us. Now at this point, to me, the market is looking a little heavier. Looking at the 5 minute, looking at the 15 still kind of holding that level. But I suppose we're days when you're looking for like what's it doing, what's it trying to do, and you can't develop a great idea. It's usually better to just step away and wait, at least for me. So I feel like this morning I just right now where it's at. I want to get short. I want to sell it. Want to get involved. But the market's not really. It's been a pretty muted morning with price action. Don't have any real great levels in mind. Looking at our 5 minute now, it is showing some weakness to where. Let's see. I would think we could get 65 here. In my mind, bears want it below that yellow line, that 39.67. So personally, I'd rather do something where I've got some strong conviction behind it, where I've got a good why based on the chart as to why I'm getting involved, why I'm active at this level. And a good risk to reward, of course. Essentially knowing where I'm wrong. Where does the trade have to go for me to know that I'm wrong and I need to get out of this thing? All right, another 45 seconds till we get a new 15-minute bar. 15-minute hanging strong, just hanging tough. Same with the 5 minute. Let me expand this. Here's the 15-minute. I'm dragging into the screen right now. So this is it. You can see, as I mentioned earlier, kind of the range that we've been in. Partially, not the whole time, but we've been, looks like 75-ish down to about 40. So we've been there. And who knows? Maybe we come up to here, then pull back in and settle in this range again. Maybe we hang out here for a while and then push higher. Hard to say. Could the morning move be done too? It's FOMC day, and sometimes it gets pretty quiet before FOMC. Rightly so. Sometimes not. 2-minute chart, just hanging out, not doing a whole bunch. I'll be right back. Let's look at our 5-minute. Let me drag that one to the screen. This is what we're looking at. So the most interesting bar to me was this one here. Came up, tried to put in a new high, sold off, but then the bulls just recaptured it, just brought it right back. And we've been up here for a while now. It doesn't mean that we can't push lower. Doesn't mean that we will push higher. I'm just looking at it, and anyone who got short here, the bulls just took it right back. Now, we haven't put in new highs of the day or anything, but we're just hanging out in this area. We're holding here above overnight high and above this, I'd call it 39.67, that's what the yellow line is right there. That I feel like the bears want it below that. And that's about it for today. Not a whole lot going on. Perhaps it's a day where, you walk away and then you come back for FOMC and you let it set up. FOMC market can move a lot. So you come back and maybe you give it. Maybe you only need 2 minutes until it settles in for you to take a trade where it's a trade that you like. But maybe you need 20 minutes or a half hour or 10 minutes or 45 minutes. To get that setup that you're looking for. When FOMC used to come out and I would, try to trade FOMC, I'd feel like, all right, like announcements at 1 p.m. and I got to be ready to do a trade at, 1 p.m. and 0.1 seconds. Whereas, over as time goes by, you just realize like, all right, I might get a setup during FOMC. I might not. We'll see what happens here. But not a whole bunch for me to trade right here at this level. So I'm probably going to wrap up a little bit early here, maybe by about 10 o'clock. Unless I see some kind of a big candle move, like on the 5-minute, we get some kind of crazy retrace. that would make me want to get involved. But at this point where we're at right here, I feel like you could certainly flip a coin. You could flip a coin and we could be another 5 or 10 points higher. You could flip a coin and we could be another 5 or 10 points lower. We're just right in the middle here. So I'm not going to try to force it. The days I do the best are when I've got a clear thesis, the level makes sense to me, I'm visualizing the price action, and then I just initiate the trade and execute. Right now, earlier in the day, the thought was that potentially we march on up, wiggle around, and come up to 75, maybe 77, and then possibly get a little bit of a pullback, a retracement. So the thought was that I would want to get short somewhere up here. But based on what we've done, how we've come up, and now we've just been in this level for the past hour and 15 minutes about. I don't have a lot of strong conviction one way or the other. So let's talk about a little psychology, and then I'll probably wrap up for the day. So whenever I trade, I remind myself that I can and will have a winning performance every day. And that's, a lot of people ask, well, how can you guarantee that every single day you're going to have a winning performance? It's simply because I define a winning performance as watching and observing, just being a student of the market, letting the market show you what it wants to do. Imagine that you're just watching the market and your finger is broken or whatever, like you can't place a trade for the day, or you've committed in your mind that you're not going to, or you've locked your account because we all know how well resolutions can do when we say, I'm not going to do this as it relates to trading. And at some point we find, I've broken my rule. I'm doing what I don't want to do. So imagine that you're just watching and observing, that you don't have to execute. You don't have to make a trade. You're just watching and trying to be a student of the market. That's number one, how I define having a winning performance every day. So step one, sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. There's 3 parts to it. Watching, observing, being a student. Second, not fearing that I'll miss the move. So not having fear or concern that if I don't have a lightning quick trigger finger, I'm going to miss it. And then third, simply then just executing with my targets and my stops in place. That's it. That's how I define a winning performance. Greg, what's up, Greg? Good afternoon, Jeff. Welcome back. How's your holiday? I've just popped up here to say hello. I won't be trading until FOMC rate decision. Cool. Hey, Greg, I'm doing well. We had a nice time. Went to central Indiana. My uncle sold his lake house in Michigan that we used to go to, so we had to find somewhere else. But I met up with my siblings and their kids. Let all the cousins play. The oldest is 12. There's 4 10-year-olds, and then there's like an 8-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 6-year-old, and then like a 4-year-old. So they had plenty of fun, had a good time. It was nice to do. And glad to be back in the saddle here. I trust that things are well with you. And hope to get some more active involvement. It's hard. My daughter broke her finger. It was 2 weeks ago today. My wife was out of country. She was in Dubai. And so it was late into the wee hours of the morning. We didn't leave the emergency or the urgent care center until 3:20 a.m. And the boys were with me because they're too young to stay here at home. So took the day off Thursday, Friday, didn't do much, then went on vacation, and then had to deal with my daughter's injury and doctors and follow-up yesterday and the day before. So hoping to finish strong with at least a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on here, and then get back in the groove, get back to watching daily and interacting and observing the market, being a student of what the market is doing. What's another thought? There was something else. I like to just write down thoughts as I get them as it relates to trading. I heard someone talking about learning to fly as a pilot and how the pilot has to be aware of 2 environments. He has to be aware of the environment inside of his controlled area, right? All of his all of the gauges, the things that display data to him as far as his altitude, his speed, his pitch, his acceleration, fuel, all that stuff. But he also has to be aware and observing of the external environment as well. He's got to know, like, how's it looking out there? Where's the ocean? Where's the horizon? What's the weather doing? My destination, what's the condition at that place? And I thought, oh, it's there's a lot of everything's like trading, I guess. You can make all kinds of parallels. But I thought, oh, that's neat. Like with trading, I think a lot of people fall prey to the myth that I've got to be aware of the external environment. The external environment being what price is doing. Like I've got to know, I've got to be, just locked in and dialed into price levels and indicators and this, that, and the other. And I'm not saying that you don't. You certainly do to trade and to trade well and to be consistent and profitable. However, I think something that is often overlooked is, what about the internal environment? So looking at the chart, that's all external. Looking at price levels and market data and all that, that's external. We have to know that. But I think even more so, we need to be aware of the condition internally. What's my mental state like? What about my emotions? Am I experiencing fear? Am I experiencing greed? Is there some FOMO here? Am I seeing a level, but then I want to execute at this level, but I can't do it? Oh, I mean, we've all been there, right? Where it's like, oh, I've got this level, I can see it, I can picture it. This is what I want to do with this trade. Price gets there, you get the signal, and for whatever reason, you don't initiate the trade. And then the trade does what you thought it would, and you're sitting on the sidelines and you're frustrated saying, well, what just happened here? I couldn't pull the trigger. I didn't do it. And then you've had other trades where there's really nothing there, but because there's a fear or concern of missing out, you're just clicking, you're just involved because there's a concern that I don't want to miss the move. I can't miss this thing. So to me, hearing about that pilot analogy, it just made me think, oh yeah, I've got to be aware of the charts and the patterns and what I'm seeing, but even more so for myself, I've got to be aware of my mental state. I've got to be mindful of any emotions that I might be dealing with or facing. So even this morning, if you've been watching since earlier, I was looking to get short. Price came down here and then wavered a little bit. I didn't take the short at 68, and it came up and did some other stuff. And there were two shorts that I took, but within about 20 seconds of both of them, I just decided to scratch to get out of them for a one tick loss because I didn't have a lot of I couldn't answer the question as far as where am I wrong on this if the trade goes against me, and then my profit target, it just wasn't far enough away to where it made sense, like with risk to reward. And at this point, I'm glad that I did that because doing that isn't following the process well. The book that I talk a lot about, it's called With Winning in Mind. The gentleman is a former Olympic gold athlete. He does training for elite world-class athletes, and he talks about following your process well. So if you want to get long or short wherever, hey, that's cool. You do you. And you may be right, and you may make money that way, and that's great. But I guarantee if you're successful and if you're consistent, there's a process that you adhere to. There's a process that you follow that you are pretty dogmatic about. It doesn't mean you have to be rigid, but it seems like the best traders, the consistent ones, the guys who make it, are ones who follow their process well, win or lose. So, final ramble for the day, kind of wrapping up some thoughts. Oh, Greg, Sardinia, Italian island on Mediterranean Sea. I love it. I've only ever been to Milano in Italy. I was up visiting my buddy in Zurich, Switzerland, and we had the chance to go to take the train either to France or to Italy and go to Milan. And I thought, I'll go. Let's go to Milan. It was for my 28th birthday. I was over there. My wife was here at home. I met up with my buddy Desmond, who, if Jay's still listening, he's Afrikaans, but was living in Zurich at the time, or he's South African, I should say. And Yeah, I'm up there. The shame of it is I'm in the fashion capital of the world and I didn't buy my wife a darn thing. Now, it wasn't because it wasn't on my mind. I'm in Milan thinking, man, I know my wife would probably like something from Milano. Uh, but what do I know about fashion, right? What's this guy know about like what's trendy and what's cool? So I'm in the fashion capital of the world in Milan with my buddy Desmond, and I don't buy the wife anything. I probably should have at least tried something, but I didn't. She didn't care. She's cool like that. But I wish that would have been a nice one to pull off. All right, so some strength here. Market moving pretty well. A little bit of a curl here. Couldn't take out that. Let me adjust this. Couldn't take out that 67 level. I'm looking at the 1 minute. Here's the 2 minute here that you're seeing. Couldn't take out that 67. Bears had enough. Bulls have just driven it higher here. I suppose so, Greg. Only, it's funny when I went there. That would have been '06, and on the plane going over, I watched Devil Wears Prada. It was when it was brand new. Probably wouldn't have watched it otherwise, but shoot, I'm on a long plane ride, so what do I got to do? And met a neat guy next to me named Ravi. He's a young guy who was buying up some real estate in New York. It was fun talking to him. Indian gentleman, like entrepreneur, really smart guy. But I remember watching Devil Wears Prada. So it's funny that you'd mention that, Greg. Oh, I'm sorry I can't talk and hear you guys. It'd be great to hear your voices. Say, Greg, tell me, ramble on like I do. Tell me about your last 2 weeks. What's good? What's going on? How are you doing? I trust things are well, so that's good. All right, well, I'm going to drag this one into the line of sight here. So here's our 1 minute. This is usually the one that I'm looking at for just nuance. I'm going to do stuff around certain levels. Here's our 1 minute. Remember when I was talking about when I did get short here and then got out of it just because I didn't like it for a scratch, was talking about maybe we could take profit at 65 if we got down to there. Bears couldn't even push it down there. They took it down to here. That was it. Held it, and then this. I suppose this could have been a little sign right here to push up and then pull back and off to the races. But even right here, when we were at 70, it's like, well, flip a coin. We could be 5 or 10 points higher, or we could be 5 or 10 lower. And so, the fact that we're 5 or 10 higher, or that we're 10 higher now, it's not surprising. And here's let me expand this one. Here's our 15 minute. So, I don't know, I kind of had that channel up to about 77. Maybe we overshoot it and then pull back in, but 15 minutes been strong. It's just kind of come up here, hung out for a while. So we'll see what it wants to do. See if the Bulls want to take it much higher, what they want to do. Well, typical fashion, I'm like, I think I ought to go. I'll probably just wrap it up, not much going on. And we get a little bit of a pop, a little bit of movement, so I might be a little compelled to stick around a little bit longer. Oops. What do we got kind of like that 72.5 level. That's where we broke out above. Make this yellow. There we go. Anyone else out there? Let's see. Anyone else taking any trades today? Any trades, long or short, good or bad? Where you at? I've taken 2 that have been scratches. Nothing special here. Oh, Greg, it was hard to trade without your soothing voice. Too much work on my daily job. Looking forward to vacation. Yeah, man, have a great vacation. That's really nice. Sardinia. On the Mediterranean. My brother's been to Greece. He was on an island, I think it's somewhere off of Crete, like Plakius Crete, something like that. He really had a nice time out there. That was, gosh, 20 years ago that he's been out there. Yeah, man, have a great vacation, Greg. Small short scalp for 60. VTOG blog. VTOG V blog. I like that name. Hey, well done. That's good. LOL. Short scalp. Yep. It's good to be back. Like Frank Costanza on Seinfeld. Any Seinfeld watchers? I'm back, baby! Something like that. That guy cracks me up. Oh, man. That's when he comes back and he starts cooking. You know, I found, too, a lot of times my best trades come when I'm not having to concentrate a ton. You know, so this morning I found myself, like, really wanting to be super concentrated and dialed in. But truthfully, like, if I've got a thesis, a hypothesis that I feel like it can hold some water, it's got some validity to it, I can usually take that trade and be talking and be watching it set up. And usually it's not on a super short, like, scalping time frame. It's usually because it's quite a bit longer time frame. But for me, I've just noticed that about myself. All right, so my level was 75 to 77. Definitely pushed up higher there and did it differently than I thought it would originally. So we got up to, looks like 82, 39.82. I would think we'd get a bounce here at 72 or 73. Bounce back up. Neat 5-minute bar. Here's our 5-minute. So up, ran some stops, and kind of negated that bar. So a few more seconds here until we get new 5-minute. So there's a guy that one of my buddies follows, Al Brooks. I think I mentioned him a few times. He watches just price action. He does primarily 5-minute bars, but he can trade off of anything. He's like a human encyclopedia when it comes to price action and trading and all that. But he's got all these crazy statistics, and I think now, granted, some of them are better than others. I mean, he could just ramble on as far as statistics, but he says on the 5 minute, by the time bar 18 is put in, so that would have been a few bars ago, there's an 80% chance that the high or the low has been established for the day. So 80%, but it's one or the other. So really, there's like kind of like a 40% chance. I'm not knocking Al Brooks. I think the guy is brilliant, and he certainly knows what the heck he's talking about as it relates to trading. But it's interesting to be mindful of that okay, we're 18 bars in. Granted, it is FOMC day, but the high or the low has an 80% chance of being put in. And then as the bars move on, as it's like by bar 22 or maybe 24, there's a 90% chance that the high or the low has already been established for the day. He talks also about the likelihood, like when price runs up and then holds, it's more, he just has all these neat statistics where it's, if price runs up and holds a while, it's less likely to sell off later in the day, and talks about like a range bound day versus a day that rallies. So again, it's, one of those deals where stuff with trading, it's like you can tell someone about something and you'd say, all right, well, that works 100% of the time, 50% of the time, to kind of be facetious. But it is interesting. I think it's somewhat beneficial to be aware of some of those statistical things, because trading is just that. When you're placing a trade and you're placing it based on an edge or a perceived edge that you have, it's wise to know, okay, statistically speaking, this is what I'm expecting the market to do. It should do this. Now, it doesn't mean it has to, but I'm leaning on the probabilities. And so if you've got a little bit of Al Brooks training, or you're familiar with some of his statistics, I feel like that's potentially just another tool in your tool belt. But there's some guys who are big students of his, so I feel like they do pretty well when it comes to trading. But again, there's so many different ways to trade, right? A lot of different ways to skin a cat. Well, let's see what we do here. I'm a little bit more intrigued now. So we've come down, couldn't get this yellow 73 level. Maybe we come down and then run back up, but it'll be somewhat interesting to see what we do here. Moderately interesting. Considering the price action we've had for the day, it was pretty decent little short squeeze there, and then return. Oh, there's other cool things that Al Brooks talks about regarding on the 5 minute. He talks about like overshoots, where you've got any kind of trend line. It'd be this way here, and then it'd be, he probably does some that are on the bottom, span, but he'll look to where there's like touches and then an overshoot, and 3 versus 4, and then he'll kind of look for a continuation. So just neat stuff. Again, tools to put in the tool belt. Maybe it's, maybe it's a tool that you use once every month, but hey, if you got the tool and it's helpful, then why not use it? All right, 15-minute bar about to wrap up here. We are at this, so we did right here on the minute bar come up to 77, or the 2 minute as you're watching here. So let's see what we do. Spilled all over myself. let's see. So VT Vog Vblog, Mr. VT, he says he's got a short scalp for 60. Anyone else got anything that they've done? Any trades you've taken, good or bad? Sorry, I'll be moving my mouse around, looking at one screen and realizing that I'm not doing it on the screen that I've got on display. So sorry about that. Okay, another 2 minutes, so we get a new 5-minute bar. See if the bulls push it here. See if they resume. Another 12 minutes, so we get a new 15-minute bar. So we've got a little bit more time on that one. Patience, takes a lot of patience. A lot of patience. We remind ourselves too that, honing this skill, doing it well, it offers asymmetrical rewards. So you get good at it, you get disciplined, you follow the process well, you learn that your losses are just insurance. Right, you got a stop loss in place and you stop gets taken out. Well, it's an insurance policy. Watching this one here for a short maybe. Still don't have a lot of strong conviction about it, so I'm not involved. Probably just gonna observe until I wrap up here. I was gonna leave at 10, but then we had this little short squeeze here, and price to me got a little bit more interesting, and so I thought, well, maybe I'll stick around just in case we get something worth doing. I still don't have a lot of strong conviction one way or the other. All right, there's a little bit of a push lower. Bears want it below that top yellow line, right around like 72.5 to 73. Bulls want to keep the party going, keep it stronger. All right, well, back to one of my analogies. Watching the market, to me, it would be similar to walking somewhere and seeing a sketch artist out on the street. And let's say that artist has been drawing lines that to you make no sense whatsoever. Just a bunch of random lines that you're seeing on the canvas or on the paper, whatever they're using. And maybe you've got to stand there for 30 minutes. Maybe you got to stand there for an hour until you can tell what they're drawing, until the lines make sense to you. And I feel like it can be similar when you're watching the stock market, when you're trying to day trade, where there's some times where you're looking at it and you're trying to get a gauge as far as what might the market be trying to do. There's a picture being painted, but I don't know what I'm looking at, or maybe I'll know within the next few minutes, or maybe it's going to be a half hour. And so if you're walking by that sketch artist and, it would be smart if you knew you could make $100 by saying, oh, you're drawing like a tree with in the meadow with some birds. It wouldn't be wise to do that if you had no idea what the person was drawing, because it might be something different. And so watching the stock market, I feel like it could be similar in that you're waiting, really not knowing what's being drawn, but at a certain point there could be a time where it clicks, it makes sense to you. Oh, I think this is what the market's trying to do. I'm going to get involved at this level. And sometimes that might be within, I'm sure plenty of you guys have been on here within the first half hour, I've taken 3 or 4 trades, or maybe 5. And then there's been other days where I've got to wait an hour. There's some days where I don't do anything. So it's just really dependent. It's determinant on what I feel the market is trying to do, what picture it's trying to paint, and then where I want to get involved, at what level. And then at what level would I know that I'm wrong? So if I'm getting involved at a certain level, where would price have to go for me to know, hey dude, like you missed the mark, like you're wrong, get out at this level. And the beginner makes this mistake of thinking, well, why would I place a trade if I think I'm going to be wrong? Good point, beginner. And that's how we all think in our naivety, right? In the opening days of the opening months or even years of trying to trade, trying to do this well. We think, well, if I put a trade on, I'm pretty convinced it's going to work out. So I don't need to know where I'm going to be wrong. But the longer you spend with it, the more you aspire to be a trader who's consistent with your profits, the more that you'll realize that you need to know structurally, looking at the chart, where would price have to go for it to tell me that my thesis is incorrect. And even doing that, being willing to do that, it means that you've got to function from a place of not rigidity, but a place of flexibility, of adaptability, of being able to read what is the market trying to do, what's it trying to tell me, and then just be a student and sit back and watch and wait. And today, since I couldn't really determine, now I had some ideas of the picture that might be getting painted, but I didn't have any real strong conviction about it. So I wasn't too quick to put money on a trade just because I feel I've got to be active, I've got to be involved. I've mentioned many times in the past, few months or weeks that last year I worked with a 20 plus year professional trader for about a month and a half, and most of his day was like this. His hand isn't on the mouse, he's watching, he's observing, he's waiting. His average trade, he was in it at the time, he was in it for 5 or 6 minutes, his average trade. Some days he'd trade a lot, which might be 6, 7, 8, 9 trades. Other days, he wouldn't make a move. And he said, he's like, so often people will be convinced of the false notion that, boy, if I want to trade, if I want to do this and be successful, I've got to be active. I've got to be making money. And Mark Douglas, my favorite author regarding trading psychology, tells us that oftentimes with trading, sitting on your hands will be like putting money in the bank. And he's right, because I think a lot of us can overtrade because we feel that we want to be active, we don't want to miss out, we want to catch the next big move. But if there's nothing there to trade, if there's no strong conviction, then what are you doing? At that point, you're just gambling. You're not working with probabilities. You're probably not managing yourself well. Mark Douglas also says that any fear that I feel, right, when I put a trade on and there's like fear, there's anxiety, it's an indicator that I can't trust myself. That's pretty interesting. So, thoughts for the day. 10:30, coming up on 10:30. And that should be it for me. We've got FOMC at 1. It'd be great if we had some awesome market movement. If you know me, if you've watched the channel at any point in time, you know that I'm on for the first 2 hours, sometimes 2.5, and then I wrap it up. So I will be bidding you adieu. Hope you guys trade well. Hope you keep your stops in place. Well, how about this? Not I hope, but I know you will. One last closing thought. Working with that professional trader, Trevor, he would talk about, not like hope, but like he would say like, I don't trade without a stop loss. I don't do that. It's like if you were to say Trevor is 5 feet 11 inches. He has brown hair. He does this. He's married with so many kids. It was factual, and he says I don't do that. Why would I trade without a stop? So I'm sitting here telling you guys, I hope you do well. I hope things work out for you. How about instead we'll say like, you will do well. You will make it work out. And it doesn't mean that you won't have a loss. It just means that when you have a loss, you'll manage it well. You'll follow the process well. You'll recognize that that loss was insurance to keep it from turning into a bigger loss. And then you'll wait, you'll keep your powder dry. You'll reserve some financial capital and emotional capital, some mental capital, so that when the next opportunity comes along, you've got the wherewithal, the calmness, the assuredness to pull the trigger and then see if that trade works out. So trade well, have your stops in place. I will be back tomorrow, barring some sort of apocalypse or something crazy with my family. I'll be back. All right, have a great rest of your day. Trade well, be safe.